how we do. Of course, if you haven't checked it out, all the Chaz's audio pleasures, songs, whatever you want to call it, on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Tidal. Some of them are on various platforms. Pandora, I know we got a few on there, but you can check them out. Now, once again, I don't know why it's been so long. Now, they did put me in Facebook. Hold on. We'll save that. We'll do hat back. I know hat back isn't necessarily the Chaz's trademark, but today we just got to get things going. And the phone is going off. Hold on. Alrighty then. So we are here. We are live. The camera, the background, the cheap hotel room that we're talking about here today. I did want to go into the comment section because I'm sure there's some people that are talking, maybe not. I'm not sure. Let's see. Comment section. Terry Angle's here. Raymond Weiser is here. Raymond is Weiser. Hold on. Let me see. We used to be able to bring up these comments all the time. Hold on. And there they are. I think so. Nope. Oh, hold on just a second. Let me get these comments up here real quick. Right here, we got the comment section. Oh, we got a lot of stuff going. Terry Angle, Roy Bain, holy shit, you aren't a ghost. We are somewhat ghostly in more ways than one. We just can't tell everybody what that actually means. Hold on just a second. There's one thing that we've been dealing with, and it ain't nothing bad, ladies and gentlemen, is the girlfriend. Had to respond to the girlfriend getting some time. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But somebody says, when are you coming to PA? I mean, I almost thought about coming to PA for the icebreaker, but I didn't. Had some other stuff lined up, other plans lined up. Thought about it, but PA is just one of those scenes, you know, we might as well just talk about it. Just let's talk about it, you know. PA is one of those scenes where there's a lot of things that are masked. And I'm not just talking about by alcohol consumption, and that is definitely happening over there. There's a lot of things being masked in alcohol consumption on that side of the racing world. But, for instance, Jovan Schriltz, car owner of the 121 Justin Sanders sprint car, he raced it a time or two. It was one outlaw, Runwell and outlaw races, one King of the West events. They were talking about the California Cartel, King of the West Cartel, the new ownership group trying to push the 410 group. This was a podcast on SprintCarUnlimited.com. Of course, some people don't like Sprint Car Unlimited because they got to charge some money to access their content. I don't know how much it is. It's not a lot. But I definitely understand why. I'm going to put this comment, leave this one up from Raymond Weiser on the screen, just so everybody knows the context of what I'm talking about, PA. And I was about to say, I can understand why Sprint Car Unlimited charges some money, because you look at me, I mean, I would love to be charging some money to talk, but hey, I'm not. You know, I could get by and say $45 a year to hear the Chaz speak and get, you know, 400 maybe people to subscribe and maybe make a little bit of money, but regardless, they talk about the new ownership group of the King of the West and how it's kind of just benefiting the elite of the area. And the interviewer, of course, Jeremy Elliott, was saying that kind of stuff won't happen in Pennsylvania, where a few car teams, they can just re-rack dashes. There was this instance where they raced a dash and the dash didn't even count. Some weird things do go on over there, but there's a California cartel for sure, but then there's also a PA posse for sure. There's groups, and I would say more so on the Pennsylvania side, it's ownership groups and promoter cartel-based groups that kind of dictate and run things and control things. And if you're in with them, you get treated well on the track, and if you're against them, you're not treated well on the track. And it even comes down to what I have to say or think I will be treated differently. Because when I made my Kyle Busch video on Loose Video, when I didn't even make a Kyle Busch, I tried to avoid the Kyle Busch situation with Braxton Busch at the Tulsa Shootout. Of course, I was on Loose Video doing all these lives. When that got a certain amount of view and attention, from my understanding, the reason that video's not on Loose Video anymore is because of some hierarchies were offended that their hierarchy buddy Bush got charged up on the bullshit they were trying to pull. And I don't want to disclose everything, but let's just say the PA posse hierarchy over there had a lot to do with that video not being up anymore. That's my understanding of the situation, at least. Regardless, there's a lot of reasons to not go to PA. You get stuck out there, you know, and it can be good and it can be bad. I mean, obviously, if you're a 410 sprint car racer, being stuck in PA is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be. I mean, if you start running bad or things ain't running good, you can't really get out. You can't really go. There's no reasons to go. There's a lot of money over there to be staying and not leaving. So, I mean, it's good, it's bad, but PA to me just isn't racing overall. I mean, there is a lot of other good scenes. I mean, obviously, Ohio's got their great racing scene. Indiana's got their great racing scene. You got the Midwest out here. You mix the Midwest in with 410 and 360 action. Everything else is kind of growing. PA's kind of got its own thing going on, and it kind of just needs to be left alone in a way. I don't see where me going out there and pumping the PA scene is going to help the PA scene anymore, where there's all these other scenes that ain't doing as well as the PA scene that needs some help, that needs some attention, that has talents that are just as good and just as great. I mean, you say some local 410 driver in PA can compete with the World of Outlaws or Donnie Schatz, and that makes sense. Everybody supports the idea. You say somebody like Jake Buback could do that, and you're called crazy and insane, when in all reality, if you watch the racing that occurs, a Jake Buback is just as talented as a Danny Dietrich, but doesn't get any glamour or attention as a Danny Dietrich does, or Lance Deweese, or any local racer around there that does well. Logan Wagner. I mean, you could go down the list. Lucas Wolf, obviously, Lucas Wolf a couple years out of his national prime years. I mean, obviously, everybody would love to see. I love Lucas Wolf. I'd like to see him do better. But, I mean, Anthony Macri, boosted a lot, pushed out as top tier. Whereas there's some top tier drivers that just ain't located in Pennsylvania, don't get that respect. And that's kind of what Joe Von Schriltz and them were talking about. Also, is on the West Coast, there's no media to call out some of the things that this California cartel hierarchy is pulling off against the smaller teams. And that was kind of the message that they were talking about in that SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast. Now, I almost feel like they should be paying me some promotional fees for pointing it out. It is a little dated, but the Chaz has been out just a little bit. Not only have I been busy doing other things, but also Facebook decided to kick me off of the platform for 30 days. They already took away my 20,000K follower page. By the way, if anybody has a lawyer that deals with Facebook or anything like that, please give me I wouldn't do everything for that page to get back, but it was taken away from me because I called Gage Martinez a slut. First of all, how about that? That's funny in itself. But there's a lot of work and time into that thing. But anyway, outside of losing that, if you got a Facebook lawyer, you let me know. Tell me, we'll get that going. Try to get that page back to 20,000 followers. That I still get $100 and some odd dollars worth of ad revenue from that Facebook page about every 2 or 3 months, because people are going back and watching videos from 2020 and behind. Of course, we got some 400 and 200,000 view videos on there, so people may be going back and watching them, some music videos as well. But regardless, I just got off this 30-day Facebook ban, jail, whatever people are calling it, because I finally, told somebody who kept saying they were going to whoop my ass. We've all documented this. If you've been watching the Chaz for years, one of the biggest, well, not the biggest videos, my bigger videos, I reached like 4 million in the first 3 months when I started Dirt Track State of Mind, which we may be bringing that back. Thinking of DirtTrackStateOfMind.com as well, possibly some Netflix opportunities. But one of the videos that really got the West Coast to hear about the Chaz was when some guy on the SprintCarFan.com message board, some guy named Ron, said if I was at Stockton this Saturday night, I was in Florida for Florida Speed Weeks, but if I was in Stockton that Saturday night coming up, that he would whoop my ass. And so I went on a Facebook Live and said, well, I'll be there that Saturday. And then I drove through mountains and almost died. Everybody watched me coming through Reno, couldn't see through the screen and all the stuff. Got there dressed up in a suit, and everybody just wanted to shake hands. So, and if you remember that year 2019, that was pretty much the same case. The next week, some of the PA Posse guys were running their mouth. I got there, everybody wanted to laugh. I think it's funny too. But at the same time, that hasn't necessarily changed. I've never been necessarily scared of anyone at a racetrack. I mean, they can come up and talk about what they're going to do, but they're not ever going to do it. They haven't ever done it already. And they've had 80, 90,000 miles a year in almost every major racing event that you could have to come and do something about it. And they haven't. Now, they talk about it or say they did this, did that. It is what it is. But I had a guy do it again on the U.S. Dirt Track Racing page, which is another U.S. Dirt Track Racing. If you don't know that Facebook group, another Larsonite hotbed. Another Larsonite hotbed is all I can say it. Now, not all of them, because they're late model fans, and they're not all psychologically delusional like the sprint car fans and people are. But one guy said he's going to do something, and so I said, well, set it up, and let's do something about it. If you're going to kick my ass, at least let's, or if you're going to kick my ass, I'm going to kick your ass. Let's at least make sure it's on camera and everybody can watch. And Facebook deemed that as, bullying and all this shit, responding to a bully, responding to a threat. So that's another reason we haven't been on here recently, and why I haven't been able to talk about the Joe Von Schriltz accusations or statements on the West Coast sprint car scene. Now, he did point out some names like Peter Murphy and some other guys, the Rudine group trying to get Skagit. I like Peter Murphy personally. I think what he's doing, he's trying to help. But he also mentioned, strong arming people and the money and the Matt Wood and all these big money players that are basically going to end up being out there on their own, playing around, racing each other, except when the World of Outlaws come to that side of the town. But this is all in reference to PA. They got their cartel over there, but they also have their hierarchy in Pennsylvania. And if you speak out against it or anything like that, you may get told if you leave that video up, you're done for the year. So when a guy takes that, there's multiple reasons to go to PA, but there's multiple reasons to not go. It is not as bad as an island as California, but it is on an island in itself, especially when you consider the sprint car scene just as itself. Let's see here. The GOAT is oh God. Oh my God. I couldn't be on here. It says 9 minutes. 9 minutes ago. And we've only been live for like 10. It took 9 minutes for somebody to say the GOAT, Bill Duncan. The GOAT is scheduled to be at the Thunder Bowl this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, let me show you something. This is the Chaz's Facebook or YouTube right here. Chaz's YouTube channel. Hold on, let's see if we can get this up just a little bit. The Chaz's YouTube page. We got this. There's the GOAT right there. Let's hear this one. This was so funny on at Williams Grove. Actually, listen to this. Listen to this. Come on, Kyle. Look happy. You're the greatest of all time, Kyle. You're the greatest of all time. Well, Donnie Schatz whooped his ass. Look at him. Look happy. Come on. He's the greatest of all time. Who cares if you finish second? Yeah, well, maybe. No, you don't want me in there. You do not want me in there. Glorious times. Oh, no, God. Glorious times. That was so funny. But anyways, I'll go to this because the Larsonite talking about the GOAT. On this YouTube page, we actually talked about the incident with Chase Elliott from California. Once again, a little bit outdated. Not going to lie, a little bit outdated as far as relevance. But once again, I haven't been on here because somebody wanted to whoop my ass, and I said, go ahead and let's set it up and do it. It is kind of sad how some people. Let me zoom in on this comment once again. This guy saying GOAT. It's so sad. It's so depressing to see Bill Duncan right here. Bill Duncan. The GOAT is scheduled to be at Thunderbolt this weekend. Now, see, here's the funny part about everything. I referenced in that video where he wrecks Chase Elliott down the front straightaway entering one, that Kyle Larson, in that moment when he did that with the race on the line, he was frustrated. He was just frustrated. He was pissed off and mad. And everybody could be like, well, why is he pissed off and mad? He's pissed off and mad because he can't win a race. Kyle Larson is not undefeated on dirt. He is completely defeated on dirt in 2022. Lost the Chili Bowl, lost the late model races, lost Volusia, Donnie Schatz getting by him. He hasn't won on dirt this year, guys. I mean, the GOAT hasn't won. So he run over, Chase Elliott because he was going to win a race. He's frustrated. Kyle Larson isn't too happy when he's losing. No great racers or great players or great anything are happy when they're losing. They're pissed off about it. And maybe he could pick up a win at Tulare. I mean, it's a good racetrack for him. Everybody's seen him, ride the wall through 3 and 4 and win in the number 4 or with Brad Sweet in that race. So he's got a shot. He's a contender, but is he a GOAT? I mean, I think we're starting to see how you can't really say that. Steve Kinser was a GOAT. Bloomquist Moyers. I talked about this in that video because you come out and you dominate a year. Everybody gets to see you dominate, and they get to get better, and then you have to continuously stay ahead of everybody else. You have to continuously be the rabbit in front of the dogs. That's what makes a GOAT after several years of being able to just stay ahead of everyone else trying to continuously catch you year after year. And we've already seen the field's caught up to Kyle Larson now on the dirt side of things. I mean, on the asphalt NASCAR, NASCAR's field is honestly ranked right below probably like MLRA or a regional late model race, NASCAR Cup Series as far as difficulty to win an event. That's right there. NASCAR Cup Series about as difficult to win as an ASCS National Sprint Car race. That's about the same level of competition, I would say. Something regional, lower level. We know he can win in the Cup Series. He's not really beating any great drivers over there. He's beaten a few guys who slipped off, got lucky, hooked up with the right sponsor and the right car company that pushed him up to the big series that's on TV. And that's about all they are over there. So to win on NASCAR stage is simplistic to me. For a Kyle Larson especially. The cars dictate how well you're going to do. Look at how good Kyle Larson is to some of you crazed individuals like Bill Duncan. He won 6 races in his first 6 years racing for Chip Ganassi because the car wasn't going to win a race. He gets in the Kendrick car and look what he did. So cars dictating finishing position over there is what's going to happen. We're on dirt. More people can afford to have equal equipment as a Larson or a Schatz or Bloomquist or Davenport. They could buy the same things. It's not multiple millions. It's hundreds of thousands. So you at least have a chance, a little bit higher level of competition. So the GOAT is scheduled to be at Thunderbolt this weekend, but the GOAT has not won a dirt track event in 2022. And I said, if he's going to run 30 late model races, like some people were saying, that over under 5. Let's put some money on I think I got a couple $200 bets out there that he won't win more than 5. He should win a race. He should win them all. He's the GOAT. The GOAT don't lose. How's the GOAT lose? That makes no sense to me. But he's the GOAT to you people. Hold on, let's scroll down the comments. Just reading these comments and replying. PA Rob Gibson here. PA Posse is down to 5 to 6 competitive drivers. PA scene is fading. I would agree. Mackery, DeWeese, who's not always there. If you're going to talk about Port Royal and Pacific, you could throw in the Wagners, Sisney. Going to talk about the Grove specifically. Who else you really going to throw in? 5 to 6 drivers. That's true. That are going to be up front, and it's somewhat based on the funding of equipment. You think about it. You go talk to some of the guys running 7th and 8th. Hey, why are you getting beat? Why are you running 7th and 8th? They'll start saying, well, I ain't got this motor. I ain't got this combo. I can't afford that. Now, there's more cars out there because more people desire to just be on the track, you know. So, Rob gets him with a really good point there. PA shit is old. Jeremy Eckman fuckers. Devin Borden is coming around. Let's start naming off these 5 to 6 winning PA drivers. I didn't plan on this to be about Pennsylvania. I plan on talking about this whole REV bullshit with the late model scene. But hey, this is going down the scene that it's going. Anthony Macri, Devin Borden, I mean, I was very high on him. I feel like I played a part in getting him in that 27, just a slight bit. I mean, I talked to the right mouths, and we all got together. Of course, I'm not going to take credit for it, but I felt like I played just a little small part in helping that Devin Borden deal come together. And he's in a 27 machine. They're doing a lot of things. They're trying to figure out the right combo. Would you consider him a winning threat right now? I mean, he can win, but on a weekly basis, as you throwing money down on Devin Borden win this weekend at every track, although everything's froze out over there in PA, but on a regular weekend, you throwing money down on Devin Borden right now, or are you throwing money down on Anthony Macri or Lance DeWeese? We're talking about winners, people who are considered to win. Considered to win. You need to mic yourself up behind the wheel. We do have opportunity to race here at Bristol. Some things are coming in, coming out. Opportunities to race are few and far between, it seems like, especially for some guy who shit talks online. I mean, if you got a race car, you know, that isn't 20 years old with smoke blowing out the motor like I had in New York, you know, doing well in it, but let me know. I'll come to your side of town. The world needs more of the Chaz. Chaz Eckman 2024. I mean, do we really want to talk about real world issues right now? Oh my God, I want to so bad. First of all, COVID is non-existent because it can't afford the gas prices to travel anymore. You know, that's what I hear. That's why COVID don't spread anymore. It can't afford to move. You know, it can't afford the gas prices. I mean, Russia controlling 8% of the oil, but somehow the gas price influxes by almost 25%. How's that happen? How's that happen? Everybody caught up on Larson. Speed and success, as CM Dugan says, which is right around the corner here. CM Dugan says, speed and success is an absolute never-ending cycle in racing. If you're not putting in the work, you won't have staying power. This is true. Okay, so we got winning contender drivers. We're trying to name 5 to 6 in the PA racing scene. Danny Dietrich. Okay. Lance DeWeese, Macri, Marks. Let's see some more. Let's see. Let's count them up now. Let's count them up. DD, DeWeese, Macri, Marks. Was that 4, right? Hopefully, yeah. 5, Raymer at Lincoln. So we're up to 5. Let's count little Freddie. 5 at Lincoln. And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Politics is really hurting the low-budget racer. Yeah, I will agree. I saw somebody, of course, Bristol Dirt Nationals coming up in just a few short weeks. We'll go ahead and turn the hat around. I got the XR hat on, which is an XR event, Race XR. Bristol Dirt Nationals coming up. Of course, their first race, it's a 2-week event this year. First racing events, I believe, start on the 21st. So that's still a little over a week. Not this coming Monday, but the next. And talk about the gas prices killing some of the racers. That's very, very true. I mean, I saw somebody who planned to run a modified at the Bristol Dirt Nationals from California. And he said it's going to be $5,000 in diesel to make the trip out to Bristol and back. $5,000. I mean, that is a lot. For $5,000 to make the trip there and back from California is a tremendous expense. And I don't know how many people can afford to do that when some of these races ain't even paying for how much it costs to travel. I definitely think people driving cross-country events like Boone Super Nationals, where it's a big event at one spot and you have all these people come from very far distances, those races are going to be severely hurt. Car counts are definitely going to be severely hurt. I mean, unleaded prices, we're at hovering around $4. Most people, I saw a joke earlier. I was like, somebody said, "Oh, $4 first time, bro," because in 2008 it was around $4 too, and everybody seems to have forgotten that. But the diesel prices are tremendously fluctuating, a lot higher than usual. But it's going to affect the car counts more than the fan counts, I think, personally. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Of course, it seems like cryptocurrency is the only thing that's keeping Russia afloat. They can't even get no regular currency, so I don't understand. Chase Dietz. I'm going to leave that one alone. They're almost $5 a gallon for unleaded. Yeah, and it jumped up 20% out of nowhere, which makes no sense to me. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I could see how they're trying to play the political spectrum, but it really doesn't make sense when you add everything up. I would love to talk the politic spectrum, but it's just so insane. No go on Dietz. I agree. Rob Gibson, I agree. But anyways, I did want to talk about something. So there was this whole issue with the REV. Hold on. Take you down. There was this whole issue with the World of Outlaws and the REV. World of Outlaw Late Model Series. They're supposed to race at the REV this Friday and Saturday night. And I wanted everyone to see this video that I came across where they canceled the race, and then the promoter of the actual, or the co-promoter of the actual track went to their Facebook page and posted this right here. Watch this one. This one's interesting. This is from the promoter after the World Outlaw event was canceled at the REV. This is what the promoter at the REV had to say. Let's give him a look here.
Well, Brian Carter, the CEO of the World of Outlaws, he's canceled on us this weekend. And not real sure why, to be honest with you. I've heard a couple different things. Was iffy about the weather. I heard pre-sale tickets weren't that good. We talked about, okay, let's just run Saturday and let's run Sunday, and then comes back and Brian don't want to do that. Not sure why. I think what it all boils down to is pre-sale tickets aren't that good. And they're not going to be in Louisiana, where everybody buys their tickets the day of. So unfortunate circumstances. I'm not happy about it. Nick's not happy about it. Not a great way to do business, World of Outlaws. And what a way to go out, right? So maybe we'll put something together so we can have another race at the REV and not go out that way. But shame on the World of Outlaws.
So he's calling out World of Outlaws. He's calling out everybody in that situation. It's weird to hear him say pre-race sales, because most people know, pre-race ticket sales usually ain't that high for much things outside of a marquee event or, marquee event, World Finals, Volusia, Kings Royals, World 100s, Knoxville Nationals. Pre-sale tickets usually ain't a big deal. So that kind of don't make much sense to me. I did see how the weather was going to be pretty bad. I think Saturday night was freezing temperatures, below freezing. There was chances of rain on Friday. They were talking about moving the race to Saturday, Sunday. Saturday night was below freezing. Sunday was mid-40s at nighttime. But I think one of the bigger issues here is people are just not understanding the full story behind this REV track. Now here was a video that was put out a little bit prior to this race. Listen to what he had to say here about what's actually going on with this track. It says the rumors are true.
I just want to go in here and tell y'all that the rumors are true about the REV. We will be taking the dirt off the track, unfortunately. Not something we wanted to do, but With my music career and everything going on, I was going to step away and let somebody else come in and take over. I never wanted to see the track go away, but the owner of the track has other plans, and so that's what we'll be doing. So after the March 11th and 12th race, the World of Outlaws, we will be taking the dirt off the following Monday. So thank you guys for all the support. Thanks for the drivers, the car owners, all you race fans for supporting the REV the past 2 years. It's been incredible. Hopefully we'll see y'all on March 11th and 12th. It'll be your last time to either come to the REV or race at the REV. So hope to see you there, and it's going to be a fun weekend. We'll see you.
So it looks like this was a situation, this REV race with the World of Outlaws was going to be their last race at this track, period. People are going to be singing. People are going to be putting asphalt on the track, stuff like that. So that's what this race originally was supposed to be, like a going-away party for this track. I think that's why they were a little upset. But, you know, being on the promotional side for multiple years of racetracks management side, seeing the money that goes in and goes out, especially when you bring in these bigger races. I mean, this wasn't going to be no little small paying $5,000, $10,000 race. Of course, the Race XR people have thrown down the gauntlet, and basically, if you're not paying $20,000 to win a race this year, you're not going to get any of these marquee late model guys to show up when they can go race XR for $25,000 and $50,000. Heck, I mean, the Bristol race coming up Friday, Saturday, the last week of March and first week of April at Bristol. That's $50,000 to win every single night with a $100,000 points championship between those 4 nights. That's it. It's not a season. It's 4 nights. And there's going to be an additional $100,000 to win championship, and I believe it goes all the way down to 10th place that they pay the top 10 in points from those 4 nights at the Bristol Dirt Nationals in the Super Late Model Division. I believe it starts 10th at $10,000 or $5,000 or something like that. So you got to start paying big money in these late model races if you want to get cars. That's just the situation because of what XR's done. This race that was going to happen at the REV with below freezing temperatures and 40 degrees and winds was $10,000 to win on Friday night and $20,000 to win on Saturday night with a 60-lap feature on Saturday and a 40-lap feature on Friday. We just got through talking about the diesel prices. We just got through talking about all that stuff. I mean, all this expense going out. I mean, World of Outlaws got to take care of their season drivers. I heard that the Shepherd and Mark Richards was not very happy with the cancellation of this race. But another aspect that people are not considering in this situation is who's actually paying the purse. Now, for those who follow the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, it's well documented, you can go look it up, that about 80 to 85% of the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series schedule is rented track events. World of Outlaws will come in, say, I like your track. Here's $15,000 to rent the track. We're going to have a race here. You as a track, you get 15 or 10,000. It's always a different number. Then they'll entice the promoter. We'll also let you keep the concession money, but we keep all the ticket sales. We keep all of the pit pass money. We keep all the vendor spots that we sell, everything like that. And it's for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, it's a hell of a deal because I think the sanctioning fee is like $30,000. So they take care of their own sanctioning fee because they let all their own drivers in for free in the back gates and all this stuff. So you got $30,000 in win money right here already off the top of the board. We're not even going down the field. You got $60,000 tied in there, $80,000 in overall purse, something around that, I would assume, for a 2-night show. There's a lot of money on the line, and if you don't get people to show up, I mean, yeah, Dirt Vision's going to have their subscribers, but most of them already subscribed for the year after Volusia. And if they ain't subscribed for the year, they're at least on the edge of that 30-day mark if they weren't paying attention to the sprint cars at Cotton Bowl last week, which was a pretty good show. So from my understanding, the purse on this race was a 50-50 purse. The 50% of it was being paid for by the track, and 50% of it was being paid for by the series, which is something that the late models have the option to do versus the sprint cars, because these tracks can choose to have a late model series. You want to have a big sprint car race, It's either World of Outlaws sprint cars or pretty much nothing. If you want no disrespect to the All-Stars, but if you want to have the biggest names in sprint car racing, you have to sign a dotted line with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, or you're not going to get Donnie shots at your track. It don't matter how much money you're paying, because they got them locked down in contracts. Now, even here on the national late model scene, they have their tour drivers, but nobody is actually contracted to not be able to race another race anywhere else. Whereas in the sprint car industry, you got to get permission and all this shit, you know. And it really comes down to broadcast, because we all noticed how David Gravel last year got to race a one-off race at Huset's, because what? Huset's is a Dirt Vision track. Dirt Vision broadcasts Huset's races. So they allow that to happen. But in the late model world, you could do an XR situation, put up a bunch of big money, and throw it at any track you want, and you get the superstars of that sport. There is no contracts that tell them from another series that they can't go somewhere. So you can't just come in and rent a track, because you're not going to guarantee all the stars are going to show up and all the fans like you can with the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series. But you can go 50-50 like they were attempting to do here in Monroe to try to get shows at not necessarily oddball tracks, but the REV is not necessarily a hotbed for late model racing. You have the Comp Cam Super Series over there in that region. Obviously, you have Mississippi, Georgia, not too far out of the Louisiana area. There's a lot of history with super late model racing around there, but Louisiana would be considered a crate late model modified state, if it's considered a racing state at all anymore. Obviously, we know the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series started at the Devil's Bowl Speedway in Mesquite, Texas, but the original actual first race for the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series was in Shreveport, Louisiana at the Boot Hill Speedway. Most people would conspiracy theory say that. So there used to be a lot of racing history in the state of Louisiana. It's just not there like it used to be anymore, because of how money and things work. And any place basically where high school football is a big deal, racing really isn't. And I think that's one of the biggest deals that affects the Texas racing scene, is that kids aspire to be football players or baseball players more than race car drivers, unlike you see that situation in a state like Indiana or Pennsylvania, where the sprint car racing scene is huge. Kids will more aspire to be that, because they ain't got this big hoorah for football or baseball like a Texas does, or Louisiana. So this whole situation is kind of interesting, but I kind of want to side with the World of Outlaws if there is a side. If the World of Outlaws were siding, as it sounds like, we're not going to race this race, and the track was all upset and butthurt. Apparently the track's still going to run a race Sunday with just regular racing divisions. I kind of got to side with the World of Outlaws, because that's a lot of money. It's a very treacherous condition with temperatures, and they're paying half the purse, you know. And if you don't get those fans down there in a non-racing area, really, it's not really a hotbed for racing. I mean, it used to be, but it ain't like it used to be. You're going to lose. You're going to lose big, and you got to start looking at this, especially with the late model side, like business, because Race XRs came in here and threw down some gloves on this whole late model scene. So they got to be very smart with what they do. And the World of Outlaws, let's be honest, it's not like Lucas Oil with the late models. And really, Lucas Oil ain't even like Lucas Oil. I mean, Lucas Oil is more concerned about selling Lucas Oil products. Their late models, there's almost a write-off for the big corporations that are involved with them. General Tire, Geico, you can go down the list. Protect Harvest. World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series also have a back pocket item called the Sprint Car Series. The World of Outlaw late models, kind of just what they want to do with it in a way. I mean, it could succeed or fail, and they're hoping to succeed. They're not making moves to fail. But it could succeed or fail, and they'll always have their bread and butter with the sprint cars on the backside, where they basically have a domination of a particular form of motorsport, and they have the gauntlet and the collar on the dog of the sprint car industry. And they're always going to be able to fall back onto that, just like Lucas Oil is always going to be able to fall back onto their multiple millions that they have. Just the sprint cars have that basically in a mirage, you know, because if the racers didn't view the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series as this upper echelon superior thing, didn't grow up idolizing and wanting to be it, it could be more like the late model series, and they could start making more money. But now you got Tyler Courtney hot lapping a late model. You got other drivers interested in late model racing because they're looking at these late model guys racing for so much more money. And they're racing for so much more money because the late model world is a capitalist system where you could just come in like XR, start putting on big money shows, and get the stars to come on out. And in the sprint car series, you can't do that. You can put $100,000 on the line. You can put $1 million race together. If the World of Outlaws say you can't run that race, they can't. So, interesting to see how that all played out. And honestly, they're all more concerned about going to do music. So, I guess this is just like a publicity stunt. I'm not sure. Let's see. Do we have any comments on that? Hold on. Let me get this going here. Obviously, my little two-sided deal is not working how I thought it would be. Hey, Chaz. Dustin Miller up there. Oh, hey, Chaz. Dustin Miller from the upper Midwest. Let's see here. Didn't get much of a comment on that. I guess nobody really cares about the late model series, which makes sense. Late models, I mean, obviously I did a lot of stuff with the sprint car world. Late model stuff I've been doing a little bit this last year, trying to learn more and understand more about the stars. Of course, you know it from a little bit of a distance, but it's a little cutthroat over there too, with the competitiveness for the money and everything like that. I mean, between teams. If you're parked next to one another in the sprint car industry, you talk to one another. If you're parked next to one another in the late model industry, stay on your side of the damn pitting area and don't talk to me unless you're going to want to fight or have an issue. That seems to be the case most of the time over there. Just a little bit over 30 minutes. I did want to address something. I got some messages earlier. Hold on, let me get over here to my messages. I got a message earlier, and I want to address it. It was sent to the Long Live the Chaz Facebook page here just a little while ago. And let's get this up here. Here we go. Here we go, boy. Right here. Some Jerry Wheeler. Look at this old Jerry Wheeler over here. Chaz, you still on here? I said, yeah, just off a 30-day ban. What are your thoughts on Michael Rigsby? I wish you would come up with a TV channel and put his ass out of business. Anybody see that meme? Anybody see? My girlfriend loves that meme. Anybody see that meme? With the white dude with the weird looking hair and the scruffy beard? Wow. Well, hello, Jerry Wheeler. You are a little salty on this Michael Rigsby deal now. Obviously, me and Michael Rigsby, we've had our discussions. He's a huge Larsonite. Obviously, Flo racing on a race car. I saw when Devin Moran addressed it, and this is nothing against Michael Rigsby, but there's no way they are saying what Moran said, that it's okay, he's just the greatest out. There's no way that's how a real competitive race car driver thinks of seeing Flo racing on that car. There's no way possible. I think that was a huge mistake. You could say it's because we're involved in NASCAR or whatever like that, but I think me personally, I think it's disrespectful to the other racers to support any particular driver in such a way, especially a Kyle Larson, where you have this whole entire fan base basically putting this one guy on a pedestal, and no matter how much you kick his ass, he's still the greatest of all time. So if I'm one of these racers who thinks I'm one of the greatest of all time, because I think you have to think you're pretty damn good to get behind one of these race cars and race against a Kyle Larson or a Schatz or a Gravel or a Davenport or Overton. If I get out there and this fan base is saying that, and I kick this guy's ass who's apparently the greatest of all time, and I wax him, I almost lap him, what am I? And this is where the Larsonites have their issues, is because they just come out with the excuse bucket. Oh, the car was off. Oh, it was the wrong tires. Oh, the palm trees didn't flow the right direction. I've heard shit where people say the moon was out the wrong way and the waves were causing the current, and since his astrology sign isn't a certain way, he lost tonight because the moon said so. I mean, you cannot, this is the problem with calling a guy so much greater, is these other guys can't get no respect. You can't beat Kyle Larson in these people's eyes. He has to lose. You can't beat him. He has to lose to you. He can lose to you, but you can't beat him. He didn't lose. The car did. The moon was wrong. The tires were wrong. The announcer coughed or something. You can't beat this guy. So I think putting that sticker on that car is almost endorsing this train of thought of one guy just so much better. When we can document, we can, like I've always done, he's where he's at because of the opportunities he has got, and there's no one else out there with the same opportunities. What other driver in the United States of America has got to drive since the age of 7 or whatever the best 360 sprint cars, the best 410 sprint cars, the best midgets, the best Silver Crown cars, the best late models, the best K&N West asphalt late models, the best trucks, the best Xfinity Series cars, and the best Cup cars recently? He did not have the best Cup car with Chip Ganassi, and that's why he got beat. Although Murder Red Rum, buddy, he's just Jeff Gordon Part 2, 24 and 42, forwards and backwards. We know all about it. But what I'm saying is no one else has got these opportunities. As Brandon Overton got these, he got put in a sprint car at Charlotte for the first time. Oh, did he get a 100 laps at Cherokee for a private test session before he got into the sprint car, like they do Kyle Larson? Or like, did he get 4 hours of practice at Port City like they did Kyle Busch with the micro sprint before he went and ran the Tulsa Shootout? So, I mean, Kyle Larson's the greatest we've ever seen because we ain't got to see everyone and what they can do. And I just think when you endorse that, you also ignore that. And Michael Rigsby's one of those guys where me and him agree on the simple fact that you can buy your way to the starting quarterback role. And some of these NASCAR guys are getting way too much respect and way too much glamour than they deserve. A Bobby Pierce is looked at as a flag football player on the dirt racing leagues while they're considered to be the Peyton Mannings when they just bought their way to be the Peyton Manning role. Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Stafford, they're perceived as the NFL players of the racing world, and this dirt thing's perceived as AAA flag football. Now, smart people would say, why is that? And smart people would also see, well, if Kyle Larson goes to dirt on his vacation weekends and kicks everyone's ass on dirt, and then he goes to NASCAR in the 42 car for the last 6 years and gets beat on asphalt in those cars, well, then that would make it look like anyone who beat Kyle Larson on asphalt can beat everyone on dirt. Because if you come from a college level where you're kicking everyone's ass, and then you go to the pros, and then Tom Brady lights you up on Sunday, everyone's going to assume, because it's true, if Tom Brady was to go back down to college, he would kick everyone's ass in that division. And that's the perspective that people are getting for NASCAR racers. So since Kyle Larson succeeds so well on dirt, when he goes to NASCAR and gets beat, those guys who beat him can come over here and beat everyone over here. And we saw the comments, Chase Elliott could lap the field in Knoxville Nationals and everything. And we got to come in and give a big round of applause to the Chase Elliott's of the world who have offered to start coming over and running these dirt races to help show some people how great these dirt racers are, because the perception is just lost. The perception of what it is just lost. And that's why dirt racing is as small as it is, because they're not looked at as heavyweight champions. They're looked at as amateurs. They're looked at as flag football players. You go to an NBA D-League game or G-League or whatever it's called right now, the fans ain't filled up in the stands for those people. Or you go to an Arena Football League, they ain't filling those stands. You go to an NFL or NBA game, the stands are filled. And you know why that is because people perceive them as the best of the best. And we live in America. We celebrate Batman. We don't give a fuck about robbing. We like the number ones. We don't like number twos. We go and watch and fill up stands for the best of the best. And to the typical idiot of America, that is on Sunday on an asphalt racetrack in a league called NASCAR. And where the twos, the robins, are located is on these dirt tracks where Larson and these guys come from. That's not reality, but it is to the general public. And that's why I don't like that Flo deal being on that Larson car, because it endorses, in my opinion, that train of thought. Outside of all this other stuff, I wish he would come up with a TV channel and put his ass out of business. I don't really agree with that. I think Rigsby has good ideas, good intentions, just like the XR series has good ideas, good intentions. But I think sometimes some people could get tied up in status versus the actual changes they're trying to apply. And I think that's what somewhat happened there. Some of these drivers have the same issue. If you don't think you're better than Kyle Larson, please just get out the seat. If your goal when Kyle Larson is there is to get a selfie with him and try to go to lunch with him the next day or share a beer more than kick his ass on the racetrack, you shouldn't be on the racetrack with him. That's just what I think. That's just what I think. We'll look at comments real quick. Before we get out here. We got things to do, places to go. Hold on, let's see here. We got any comments? Nope. It looks like we got no comments. Good. No new comments. This is awesome. No new comments. This is what I was always looking for. But anyways, that's the good segue to close the show. We may be doing some more things here recently. Not sure on where to go this weekend. I really don't feel like driving across the country with pretty much gas prices at an all-time high. I had to pay like $400 today to get 3 new tires. Shamrock was an option, but it doesn't really look like it's going to work out to go down there. I'd have to get tremendous amount of support. If you want to join the support, links are in the description. We do have our new 2022 supporters list out. If you were with us in 2021, go ahead, send any amount to the links in the description to join the support, and we'll put your name on the list. A lot of people on there already. And hopefully we'll join and get some, or hopefully you'll join and we'll get some more people onto the list. We got some new music coming out here very soon. I'm trying to think of some stuff, come up with some ideas. We might be possibly doing some at-track special music videos for racetracks in particular. If you're interested in getting that done at your racetrack or race team, let me know. We have that planned. And then, of course, YouTube. Keep an eye out for the new stuff coming out on the YouTube. I'll be posting this to the YouTube channel here very soon. And, thanks for tuning in. LongLiveTheChaz.com for your apparel. We'll see you next time.
This is how we ride. This is how we do.